Before I start, I feel it's necessary to add a warning to this video that it gets pretty dark, so if you're easily offended, or even if you're just a normal rational human being with a modicum of morality, this video is just not for you, seriously. Now this game is filled with positive and negative pathways you can take, and yet it appears as though the positive one is usually lacking foot traffic. So here I'll discuss some of the most messed up things you can do in DayZ in a video that is essentially a testament to the developer's genius. If you like the video, please leave a like or a subscribe, it really helps me out. But without further ado, let's get into the video. They do not sound like they're having a good time in there. Starting off big and bringing a whole new meaning to the phrase cup of joe, lots of players engage in a little thing called cannibalism. Yeah, you can cut players up or sometimes find human steak on dead infected and just chow down. But some take it one step further and force or trick others into doing it, which can lead to them becoming ill with kuru, which is a haunting laughing illness to which the only cure is lead based. The words "can I eat you" is not only a scary question to ask somebody on DayZ, but also a terrible pickup line. Next seems like a step back from cannibalism. It's a pretty high bar, to be honest, but hear me out. It's murder in general, but with DayZ it's way different. Most games you kill, but it's just an avatar that respawns and gets geared almost immediately. There's no real sense of loss, but in DayZ you know each bullet you shoot is gonna hit somebody's heart first. The grueling grind, sending them kilometers away back to the coast with nothing but their balls and a life lesson, hours of searching and scavenging just to be shot from behind by some idiot on a hill can easily cause a man to Chris Benoit his family. Or Chris Watts? Chris Hallowell? Wow, you just probably shouldn't piss off anybody called Chris. Next is torture. There's so many ways to torture in DayZ. Poisoning their water, removing their shoes and making them walk, using your microphone to blast an Amy Schumer DVD. The ways to torture someone are only limited by your imagination, but you can genuinely tire some people out in real life after hours of torture, having them begging for release like a Fritzl family game night. Next is unaliving yourself, which is not just a quick way to get to the coast, but also a really quick way to get your video demonetized. Nope. Then we have the next thing. In a game where teamwork can be crucial for survival, you can spend hours, sometimes even days, traveling around with a friend. You share stories, events, food, and even adventures, only to shoot them in the back and steal that cool gun you wanted, leaving them bloodied and abused like every child who appeared on the back of a milk carton in the 90s. I'm gonna leave the semi-joke, but the most messed up thing about your Montreal screwjob is how proud the victor feels having made a grown man cry and undoubtedly blame his inadequacies on his unsuspecting partner. But adding to and sort of extending one of the previous points, while setting up a base in DayZ is not necessarily shocking itself, some players take it to the extreme by building elaborate fortifications and traps. They create a virtual fortress, a safe refuge away from all the dangers. They can spend hours of their real life gathering and collecting resources, planning and strategizing, crafting and sorting, just for some clown to come in and ruin 40 hours worth of struggle with a well-timed boost while they're offline. This is especially messed up when the victim wakes up the next morning eager and excited to play DayZ, only to log into a Vaseline-less glory hole of pain. But if the pandemic has taught us anything, it's that people will do whatever it takes for a tin of tuna, even if that means amputeeing a pensioner or two. Moving on, we have holding players hostage. This sounds normal. How messed up is a game where I can say confidently that sounds normal? Some players choose to hold other players hostage. It's part of the game, either as a means of stealing or simply for the thrill of it. This can involve tying them up, holding them at gunpoint, or making demands in exchange for their release, or as Charlie Sheen calls it, Wednesday. The problem appears to be tied into the freedom DayZ gives you to assume your ultimate form and ensure maximum country. And the best way to achieve this form is by learning how to get the upper hand, and you can do exactly that by following this shameless plug here. And as always, if I don't get cancelled, until next time.